Hey, I'm Pascal from Orangepixel and yet again testing Residual on the Switch. We're almost there, and by the time you're watching this video, I kinda expect the game to be at Nintendo for a lot checking, testing stuff. They pretty much just will be testing the user friendliness of the game and if the console shines and works correctly as it should. They don't really test the game itself, just make sure that a save game works and the experience for the player is correct. We had some setbacks here and there, some bugs and things, and right now as I'm recording this, Friedel, Serious Lion on the Discord, he's probably working on the text rendering because we're not getting it right exactly, which is very hard to do. Font sizes and then centering it, and it works a lot different in monogame than it does in libgdx, and of course he's porting from libgdx to monogame for the consoles, but we're almost there. The save game is now working. I think we ran into only one bug with that, one issue, which is a miracle because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be saved and then loaded, and it kind of worked. And so not a lot of issues, but some setbacks here and there. But I think we're there and it's going to be submitted to Nintendo. We're still on schedule. It's now June the 26th. We should be on schedule for our release window. Of course, this same build now also runs exactly the same on Xbox and PlayStation. We just have to figure out how to get it at Xbox and PlayStation. A bunch of stuff needs to be set up at the back end, but we'll figure it out on time. And we're ready to go. And besides this version, I've been working on a demo version for the PC. If you had the Steam Festival version from last year, 2020, before the Kickstarter even, you might have noticed that version has an update. So you can already check it out now, but by the time this video goes live, the demo might also be live. Not sure what our plan is on that, but it will be live very soon and you'll be able to play a demo version of Residual on PC. And of course wishlist it. And the demo is a very short, different planet. It's not part of the normal galaxy, so it's very specific for the demo version, so you might want to try it even if you're gonna get the full game. This demo planet, it exists only in the demo, nowhere else. It's a very short experience, but still long enough, or it's a short planet, but a long enough experience with a bunch of different interesting things on that planet to do. So go check out the demo once it's live. Follow me on Discord, Twitter, whatever. I'll let you know when it's live. And that's it for Residual. The rest of the video is gonna be about the new game, except for one thing. Have you seen this?
The life on it is different from each other. Ingenuity is what keeps you alive, though, not running and gunning everything you see.
Hey, you sure do talk a lot. Like you're some kind of big deal or something.
PDB, I'm literally trying to promote your upcoming game here, you know?
Yeah, that's right. It's my game. I'm the star of the show. Don't you forget it.
Well, actually, you're more of a companion.
Enough, meat man. Go crash on an alien planet and see how far you get without me.
Okay, you've got a point there.
That's right.
Well, folks, sorry for that interruption, but until next time, keep chewing that gum.
What gum? Who has gum?
So last week, if you watched the video, I mentioned I had a terribly unproductive week. Only one day that I actually did something on this game. Obviously, the Residual demo version and all the Residual stuff also kind of made it hard to focus on this game. But this week, I had a very productive week. There's a lot of stuff changed and a lot of interesting things, and it's starting to look like an actual game, which I'm just gonna dive in and show you a little bit of it, and then we'll talk about the new stuff being added and changed and things. And I'm excited again. This is a good thing. Excited about the new game. So let me show you what it's now. So this screen is still pretty much what it was last week. I'm not changing anything yet. This screen is mostly to give the impression of what it should be, and will over time improve it and enhance it. For now it's just pretty to look at when you start the game and makes for nice screenshots and nice video. So let's just dive into a random mission anywhere. Street view hasn't changed much. Again, something that will be done eventually, but for now it's just a way to get into a building. And this is where the fun stuff starts. The first thing we added are these little blinky items. There's now a bunch of cash gold, suitcases with stuff in them. So in general, just a bunch of pickups, and that really adds a lot of gameplay feeling because you can actually start picking up stuff. So let's just split up our team. I'll get to that command and this little thing in a bit. Command is moving over there, and we'll breach with 2 guys. And we'll destroy everything, just very simple for now. And as you can see, we're picking up stuff left and right, gold and money and bags and a bunch of items. And this over here, you can already see, is a little circle. This might improve, of course. This is all just a first draft, work in progress thing, but this means you can actually search this cabinet. So eventually you'll have some search actions and you'll be able to find stuff. And of course it will be money and gold, but we can also start adding missions where you have to find certain documents or secrets, or that's a lot of code that's been added to handle all those things. Now, that's all pretty cool and fun and interesting, and it makes for a certain gameplay. And at the top we have this score bar type thingy. Again, this doesn't make much sense, but it just work in progress. Let's move on to the cool stuff. Let's regroup. And you might have noticed then when I now split my team, and also this is not pausing the game, this menu is putting the game in slow motion. So if there are any enemies coming at you, they will still be coming at you, but in slow motion, because I want to keep that momentum and I want you to make quick decisions and be good at it. And that's really the challenge for this game design, making a real-time squad team-based action type of game with a city builder on top. Yeah, I know how that sounds. Anyway, let's split up the team, and you'll notice that we can now move this little circle and we can actually tell the team where they should be going, which is pretty cool. But once they're split up, we can still give them some instructions. So let's go, let's enter this building. Let's give our second team a movement over here while we move to the left, and we clear the whole building as 2 teams. And we can regroup again. We can move the other team over here while we take down the lower route, and we take these things and we can move them all the way over here, I think, if it all works. I'm still tinkering with the pathfinding, but I'm pretty sure these guys are now going to move all the way over there. So you can now really give them commands, and I think this is going to enhance the team play, or at least the aspect of team play I had in my mind. So pathfinding is now part of the game, and I've been tinkering with that for a while. Pathfinding itself isn't very difficult code, and luckily for me I already had it ready for Space Grunts 1 and Space Grunts 2, but now I had to implement it in real-time game. But in real time it pretty much works the same as in a turn-based game, just that it has to be fast enough to make sure that the game isn't very slow and not slowing down. And in turn-based you have a lot of time to calculate path. In real time it has to be done on the fly, and that works, and that allows me to create certain interesting commands. Like, I think this came from Discord. Somebody mentioned this in a little discussion we had about this game. Somebody mentioned, well, you should be able to give them commands on where to move and stuff like that. And I figured it would be interesting to implement that, and it already enhances the game a lot. And I think we can use this method to also make it more interesting, to have the player use different kind of tactics to clear a level. And to some degree it's going to be up to the player to decide on how you tackle certain missions, and if you want to go in guns blazing, gung-ho and whatever. I'm not sure if that's going to be an option. I might actually make that very difficult for you, so that you actually are slightly forced to use your team in some way. But I want to also leave it up a little bit to the player. So if you're gonna just go in with 4 squad members as one group, that should be an option. But you should also be, but it should also be technically interesting to maybe split up your group and have 2 guys moving in from the other side in the room, or whatever. We're gonna figure this out before this game is done. And besides all that new code, I've also been tinkering with the layout still. This is an ongoing thing. A lot of rendering bugs and issues that had to be handled. I think we're almost there, although still there is some room in room generation that needs to be fixed in the procedural generator. But also a bunch of people mentioning about these apartments, this and that, but the apartments are just a very tiny part of it. We're going to be adding a bunch of different areas, storage rooms, office spaces, a garage, a scrapyard. Currently Dylan, the intern, is currently working on that scrapyard and drawing it. We have some factory stuff. There might be just a laundry area, things like that. So let me just talk you through a little idea I had for the storage room. We enter the storage room at the bottom so that we're going to be moving upwards on the screen. There's going to be a bunch of storage stuff that you have to navigate through. So let's say we move our squad, 2 of our members, we push them on the left side, we give them instructions to move up, then we move to the right side, we clear everything and every enemy we see, and we try to move up higher until we reach the office. In that office there's a little safe. You have to crack that safe. Of course it's gonna be guarded, and maybe you'll have to find a code first, like that's somewhere hidden in a suitcase or at one of the enemies. It will have a little piece of paper with a code, and you have to get to the safe, use that code in some sort of little mini game or button thingy. The safe opens, you'll get what you want, but alarm bells have been triggered, so your way back out of the storage area is going to be filled with new enemies, and you'll have to fight your way out of there, back to the door, exit, mission completed, back to the mission screen. That building is now secured, or at least the other gang isn't there anymore, so it's now part of your territory, and you can move on to other territories because the piece of paper you found in the safe had some information that allows you to open up new missions in other buildings, where you do other type of missions in other type of buildings. That's the idea I have in my mind for this game and what I'm working towards, but it's very hard to show you all those things because it's mostly happening in my head. So that's what I'm working towards, and we're very close to getting more of those type of things in the game. I think next week, as you're watching this, I'll be working on storage areas and just different environments, because I need to spice it up a little bit for screenshots and social media, showing off different type of things of this game. So that's pretty much what we're working towards. Alright, so it's been a very productive week, and I'm very happy with that, because last week was a drama and luckily this week was a lot better. And not a huge amount of things got done, but the things that I've been working on were very important and just took a lot of time. Like the whole pathfinding, the idea or the code for that is easy, but making it work exactly the way it should in all cases, that's a little bit harder. So I think I'm almost there. There's still some edge cases where there's a bed just one little area away from the wall, and as a normal player you can walk past it, but the pathfinding won't see that you can. So still some things that need changing and tweaking, but we're almost there. So let's end this video with some comment reading on last week's video. I think your screenshot rule is actually a very good one. Yeah, for those that missed last week's video, go check it out, or in very short terms, if I create 5 screenshots of a game I'm working on and I can't find 3 good ones, I probably need to change the look, and the game isn't interesting enough, or at least not visually. So that's in short. But last week I said it a lot better. So go watch last week's video and come back to this one. I do think Fog of War is a good improvement. Yeah, mixed comments on the Fog of War being lifted from the current game, or at least not having all these black areas that you haven't visited. It's still something that I have mixed feeling about myself, but I know that for screenshots and video and streaming these games, it's a lot more interesting to be able to see more on screen and not just have all these black areas. So for now this is it, and we'll see if it stays like that until we release. Yuki Timmy is back with some more name ideas for this game. Super well built attack troop, super well built aperture troop, aka SWAT. Or maybe not. Breach it, like that, but I think it's too comical of a name for something of this type of game, but alright. Pre-shooter Playable, no idea what that means. Gangspang, again sounds very, I'm not sure what, it sounds a bit, you know, it's, yeah, to be continued. That's probably the best part of your comment, to be continued, because these names, no. I already liked your art style before, but working with another artist makes your game look more professional. It's different for sure, having Dylan, the intern, DMAC on the Discord, having do these graphics, but he's gonna be leaving me probably in 1 week from now, unless he can maybe stay for his second internship at Orangepixel, but we're still talking about that. But it's been interesting also for me, because normally I do all these graphics myself, and now I just ask somebody to create what's in my head, which is sometimes very difficult to ask. But he comes up with a lot of cool art, and most of it just functions very well within the game, and it looks awesome, and it looks different from my own style, and that's going to be very interesting. Once he leaves, I'll have to take over all the graphic duties and try to recreate his style in whatever I'm going to create, which is going to be an interesting challenge for sure. If the player or the game gives the recruited squad members names, a few personality traits and quirks, and they survive grueling missions and therefore can trust the member of the squad, the player becomes more attached to them, and it would be more affecting if when they finally get killed. True, and that's true, and that's the thing that's bugging me in the current setup of having these general and then having disposable soldiers. So also something I have mixed feelings about, because it could be interesting to get attached to certain soldiers, but would you then still put them in the front and make them, or would you rather have them stay behind because you're very attached to them and they're very high skilled and you don't want them to be killed in the current mission, you want to have them around for the next mission. So that adds a lot of other ideas and design problems or issues or changes, and a lot of stuff to think about. And Christopher is back again. This time with just one comment, and it's a long one. Thank you, Christopher. That's just great. Hey friend, I have an idea. Until you yourself will leave your mouth open, but it will be difficult. But it is worth trying to make it perfect game. It is a new way. It's perfect. All right. Do we get to an idea? It's about being a leader who has a gang as a territory in the city. Get territory. You're basically describing the idea that I introduced last week. Good idea. I introduced it last week, so thanks for the idea. You should list Christopher as a co-creator. Well, not if he's stealing my ideas and then brings them as a new idea on the next video. That's not how it works. No. The bullets look like they're shooting hunks of metal. I think they should... Yeah, I just created very big bullets because I thought that would make them more clear, but I'm not sure anymore. I guess this is a pitfall of making devlogs. One tends to fear switching things up and upsetting the viewers. Exactly. Yeah, I know there will be people who've been watching every video and every week, and they will have an idea of what this game is gonna be, and then they suddenly see me make a left turn and move in other direction, and some people get upset by that. And for me, it's just something I have to ignore. Sorry if you're upset. I have to ignore it because I need to create a game that works, and sometimes it might work in your head. Like, that's why I started a project like this, but then you start to make it and it doesn't work at all, and then you will just have to change it. And yeah, this community, everybody's watching, thank you. You're all pretty cool, and the feedback is amazing, and I really love all these things. So great. All right, this is a good comment to wrap up the video. How many hours do you think you work a week? It's crazy how much you get done each week. Two things for that. First thing, I do this full time, so you shouldn't compare it to anybody doing it as a hobby in the evening hours. I work from the morning up to late in the afternoon, and I actually started working less hours a few years ago and found that I was more productive that way. So all in all, I think on a day I work maybe 6-7 hours. I do work 6 days a week, but that 6th day is usually on my Monday. It's an admin day where I do a bunch of stuff like setting up web store pages and handling payments and things like that, all the boring business stuff, and it's usually not a full day of work. So I work a little less and I'm much more productive that way. So maybe a recommendation for anybody struggling, work less hours and be more focused in those hours as you work. I think that's the trick. And that's it for this week's video and for the comment reading and for everything, because I've been talking a lot, doing a lot of comments. I hope you guys don't mind and I hope you guys like it. And if you do, leave a comment on this video so I have something to read next week. If my content is a bit short, because it's also fun interaction with you guys, and I can give more explanation and more in-depth answers to questions that might pop up as we're talking about the new game. So thanks for watching, like, subscribe. Hop on the Discord, there's gonna be some fun stuff there if I can actually get this whole PDB Discord bot up and running. It's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be interesting, and mostly fun. So, alright, that's it. See you next week. Bye.